Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner just got a proper wake-up call, and it's not a subtle one. These two young guns of the ATP circuit, representing Spain and Italy, have been the ultimate benchmarks for the up-and-coming tennis generation. But now, there's a cocky new contender ready to crash the party, and his name is Flavio Cobolli. This 22-year-old Italian isn't just here to smile politely and play along. He's here to flip the damn script for 2025. As 2024 crawls to an end, most players are writing their new year, new me goals. Meanwhile, Cobolli's busy sharpening his knives and openly declaring war on Alcaraz, Sinner, and anyone else who dares to stand in his way. Speaking to Tennis, Flavio didn't just beat around the bush. He set the bush on fire. His bold claim? He's the next big threat to the ATP's powerhouses. Forget respect. He's here to make these guys sweat. I see this year as a fresh start, Cobolli says, with a grin that screams trouble. Not just for results, but for upping my professionalism and hunger to improve. My main goal? To be such a pain in the ass on the court that nobody has an easy day. I want to close the gap between me and the big boys, Sinner and Alcaraz. Those guys? I admire the hell out of them, but I'd love nothing more than to give them a proper headache. Currently ranked 32nd in the world, Cobolli shot up to the top 50 like a rocket, leaving skeptics scratching their heads. Sure, he's been battling a shoulder injury that set his preseason back by a week, but does that bother him? The pain took longer to go away than I'd hoped, but I'm getting back in shape, he admits. Still, my serve stats suck when compared to the top guys. That's gotta change. And don't get me started on my volley game. I need to bring more variety there. Most importantly, I need to master flipping the switch from defense to offense in a single shot. That's what separates the legends from the rest of us. Meanwhile, Sinner, Cobolli's fellow Italian, has had his own drama to deal with. Remember his clostebol doping scandal? Yeah, that mess. While he's technically been cleared, not everyone's buying it. Enter John Isner, who decided to spice up his podcast with some not-so-subtle shade. I'm surprised they gave him the fan favorite award, Isner said, his tone dripping with sarcasm. I mean, nothing against his personality, but 2024 was divisive for him, thanks to that positive test. Even Kyrgios had his doubts. Honestly, I thought that'd kill his chances, but hey, congrats I guess. Back to Alcaraz, because why should he escape unscathed? His coach, Juan Carlos Ferrero, apparently delivered a verbal smackdown recently, reminding Carlos that even prodigies need to stay grounded. While the details of that chat are under wraps, it's clear that Ferrero isn't here for excuses or half-assed efforts. So, buckle up, tennis fans. 2025's shaping up to be one hell of a ride, with Cobolli aiming to piss off the ATP elite, Sinner dodging haters, and Alcaraz figuring out how to stay on top. Who's ready for the chaos? Juan Carlos Ferrero didn't hold back when addressing what Carlos Alcaraz needs to work on. Sure, 2024 was a blockbuster year for the young Mercian, who pretty much took the tennis world by storm. The kid smashed through barriers, becoming the sixth dude in history to win both Roland Garros and Wimbledon in the same damn year. That's the kind of achievement that puts you in the same breath as legends. Let's not sugarcoat it. Alcaraz is already being hyped as one of the GOATs in the making, and his meteoric rise shows no sign of slowing down. But hey, even prodigies aren't perfect. While Alcaraz's season was undeniably epic, it wasn't all sunshine and roses. Enter Jannik Sinner, who played spoiler like an absolute boss. The Italian didn't just stop Alcaraz from bagging more titles. He gave the tennis world one of the most intense rivalries we've seen in years. Watching those two go head-to-head has been pure entertainment, a glimpse of the future battles that will keep us glued to our screens. Still, Carlos ends the season as one of the circuit's biggest stars, cementing himself as a force to be reckoned with. But not everything was smooth sailing. By the tail end of the season, Alcaraz's form hit a bit of a slump. Sound familiar? That same pattern showed up in 2023, raising a few eyebrows about whether he can keep his engine running full throttle all year. Look, the dude plays with insane intensity, and carrying the weight of being the next big thing would tire out anyone. Yet, in those crucial moments at the end of big tournaments, it's clear he needs to dig a little deeper. That's where Ferrero comes in, and man, he's not sugarcoating a damn thing. The coach has pointed out that, while Alcaraz has ridiculous potential, he's still a work in progress. Carlos is a beast, no doubt about it, but we're not stopping here, Ferrero said in a recent interview. If he wants to dominate, and I mean really dominate, there's some fine-tuning to do. Consistency is the name of the game, and we've got to nail that down. Ferrero's philosophy? Build a player who's a 10 out of 10 in damn near everything. We're not settling for good. We're aiming for perfection, he explained. Carlos has some areas where he's killing it, but there are others where he's not quite there yet. Our job is to bring those up to the same level. It's not just about tweaking Alcaraz's serve or adding variety to his game. Ferrero's also laser-focused on sharpening his mental edge. This isn't just about hitting the ball better. It's about building a mindset that's bulletproof. Carlos needs to learn how to close out seasons with the same fire he starts them with. Meanwhile, Alcaraz has already shaken up his plans for the upcoming season. He's throwing a curveball by jumping into the ATP 500 in Doha, tweaking his schedule as he gears up for the Australian Open. It's clear that Carlos isn't just coasting on his past success. He's getting ready to hit 2025 with a vengeance. So, what's next? If Ferrero has his way, Alcaraz won't just be a highlight reel player. He'll be the guy who turns matches into nightmares for everyone else on the tour. Buckle up, because the ride's just getting started. Spain's tennis golden boy, Carlos Alcaraz, is once again making waves, and not just with his racket. The 21-year-old phenom, who's already checked off a mind-blowing list of achievements in his young career, is gearing up to tackle the one big title that's still missing from his trophy cabinet. But just when we thought we had his 2025 plans all figured out, the Mercian dropped a surprise bombshell. He's backtracking on a previous decision and will now grace the ATP 500 in Doha with his presence. And let me tell you, this isn't some random stop. This tournament has become a hotbed for the sports elite, promising one hell of a showdown. Alcaraz joins the party in Doha. After initially skipping this event, Carlitos has officially added the ATP 500 in Doha to his 2025 schedule. The tournament, now elevated from a 250 to a 500, has attracted a killer lineup, with big names like Jannik, Sinner, and Novak Djokovic leading the charge. We're talking 7 top 10 players. Yep, 7, including Daniil Medvedev, Andrei Rublev, Alex de Minaur, and Stefanos Tsitsipas. If that doesn't scream tennis fireworks, I don't know what does. Doha is set to go down from February 17th to the 22nd, slotted in right after the Australian Open unless Alcaraz throws us another curveball and signs up for Rotterdam too. Either way, this tournament is shaping up to be an unmissable clash of titans. The official Alcaraz roadmap for 2025. Planning a tennis season isn't exactly like making a grocery list. With so many tournaments and ranking points at stake, every decision can make or break a player's year. Alcaraz, however, isn't messing around. He's already confirmed a handful of key stops on his journey to reclaim the world's #1 spot, with his sights firmly set on dethroning rivals like Sinner and Djokovic. But first, Carlos is warming up with some flair. He's kicking things off at the Ad Racing Stars, a charity exhibition where he'll spar with Alex de Minaur and Alexei Popyrin. After that, it's all business. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Alcaraz is expected to hit around 20 tournaments throughout the year, with likely appearances at marquee events like Madrid, Rome, Wimbledon, Toronto, Cincinnati, the US Open, and Shanghai. Basically, if there's a big tournament happening, chances are Carlitos will be there, ready to bring the heat. What's at stake for Alcaraz? Let's not mince words. Alcaraz isn't just playing to participate. He's hunting for domination. After a stellar 2024, He's got his eyes set on cementing his legacy as one of the greatest. But here's the twist. This season isn't just about trophies. It's about sending a message. The kid from Murcia wants the world to know he's here to stay, and he's not afraid to make Sinner, Djokovic, and anyone else sweat bullets along the way. And don't forget, while Carlitos is sharpening his forehand and perfecting his footwork, his coach Juan Carlos Ferrero is right there, pushing him to be even better. The goal? To make Alcaraz a goddamn nightmare for anyone who dares stand across the net. Why you should stay tuned. If you're as obsessed with tennis as we are, then Tennis Extra is your ultimate backstage pass to the sport's biggest stories. From in-depth analysis to exclusive interviews and comprehensive tournament coverage, we've got you covered. Want to know what goes on in the minds of these top players? Or what strategies they're cooking up behind the scenes? Stick with us, and you'll never miss a beat. So, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and join the conversation, because 2025 is shaping up to be an unforgettable year for tennis, and you don't want to miss a second of the action.